Happy Monday, everyone. Today I want to talk to you about sowing and reaping. A lot of the times, as believers in God, we can become quite complacent, waiting for God to do everything for us, not really understanding who God is. God is not a genie that you make wishes with, but He is your Father who loves you. And just like any other parent, there is a responsibility that is on you when you ask for something or desire something to happen in your life. So I want to give you guys an example, a story that God gave me. He said there were these two men who each owned a field. One of the men did not believe in God at all. He never prayed, he never tithed, he never gave an offering. But he would wake up every morning at 5 o'clock. He would take his seed out to the field. He would dig the trenches and plant the seed. He would water the soil and till to his garden and his harvest every single day. The other man, he'd wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and he'd fall to his knees and he'd praise God and he'd worship God and he'd pray to God to give him a plentiful harvest. But he never went out into the field. He never planted a single seed. So God said, when harvest time came, of the two men, which one of them would reap a harvest? It's the non-believer. And I know that sounds crazy, right? To think about it. Why is it that the non-believer is profiting and being more prosperous than the believer who prays and thanks God and praises God and is asking God for this blessing? It's because there is a fundamental law in life that goes just beyond the spiritual. There's a physical law in place here, which is why you can have people who don't believe in God still prosper. Because the rule of thumb is you reap what you sow. If you never plant a seed, it doesn't matter how much you believe in God. But if you plant a seed and you tend to the seed and you water it, then you're going to reap a benefit from the labor, the physical labor that you invested. So God said, here's the difference between the non-believer investing his time and the believer investing his time. If the two men both woke up and the one man prayed and the other didn't, and the one who didn't pray went out to his field and he planted his seed and he tended to the harvest and did all of the things that a farmer is required to do in order to have a harvest, sure, he's going to reap the benefits of his work. But if the other man who believes in God does the same and he prays and he gives God praise and glory and he asks God to bless the fruits of his labor and he gives a tithe and an offering, the difference is that man, the believer, will reap a more plentiful harvest. So it's our responsibility to do something with what God has trusted us with. It's not meant for us to simply sit back and let God do all the work. If God has given you a vision, an idea, if He's given you a purpose that you understand and that you know about, it is your job, your responsibility to put forth the effort to plant those seeds and till to the ground and tend to your harvest, whatever that might look like for you. If you're a songwriter, write, produce songs, do the music that God is calling you to create. If you're a janitor or you want to start your own janitorial service, then do it. Do whatever it is that God has placed in your heart to do, but do not sit back and simply wait for God to do it for you. Because you will reap what you sow. And if you don't plant a simple seed, you will never have a harvest. So until next Monday, go out, plant your seeds, tend to your ground, and get ready for the harvest that God has promised you. Have a great week, everyone.